space station. We've got a number of checkouts that we have on our autonomous rendezvous and docking system so that the ground can monitor and ensure that all those systems are working appropriately and that we maintain the protection for the space station that's required. When it's time to come home, I think I mentioned earlier, it's from undocking to the ground. It's only about 4 hours. So we'll undock. We'll do system checkout on all the thrusters, and from the time we do the deorbit burn to the time we land out in the desert, it's about 40 minutes. So it's really quick when it's time to come home.
Thanks, John. We've got time for a couple more questions. We're going to go over here.
John McGill with Wyandotte Cable and News. I believe this question's for Joel. What issues do you go over with our international partners when you bring a new craft to the space station?
And so we review, for this mission, what we review is the close-in or the proximity operations when the vehicle is coming near and departing the International Space Station. So we go through the trajectory operations. We go through any atmosphere changes that you'll have when you bring a new vehicle to the International Space Station. So there's a set of safety requirements, a set of mission requirements, a set of interface requirements, and we review all that with the international partners, and it's a lot of work. Once we switch over to crewed vehicles, we'll start incorporating more of the launch vehicle into those discussions. We already have done some of that. We've done some preliminary discussions with both the launch vehicles and the landing operations with the international partners, but those are the type of items we discuss with them.
Okay, next question in the stripes here.
Okay. Don Haladiak, CBC Radio. Question for Pat. Will the crew have any ability to take control of the spacecraft if there's any anomalies with the docking?
I assume you're talking about the ISS crew. They will not. We have trained the crew for this, and they'll be watching. Most of that, the data information will be available on the ground and not necessarily on board the ISS, but they are trained as we call them visiting vehicle officers, VB1 and VB2. That's Jessica Meir and Christina Cook.
Thanks, Pat. The question here, just next to Bill.
Hi, Stephen Clark from Spaceflight Now. I was wondering if John Elbon or Mr. Mulholland can talk about launch dates available after December 20th. What do you have on the range, and what do you have after that in terms of ISS phasing, your availability for launch dates, and also any limitations on how many attempts you can make before you have to roll back to the VIF to do any servicing on the spacecraft or the vehicle?
Let's see, I'll start out from a spacecraft standpoint. So available launch days as we work with the International Space Station program and our ability to have the performance to get there. So we have the 20th, the 21st, and the 23rd on the range. Available days from a capability to get to the International Space Station. We don't have the 23rd, but we have the 25th through the 28th. And then we do not have capability on the 29th, but then we got 3 days after that. So we're really set up in the month of December if for some reason we can't get off on the 20th. Now, you've got to factor in if you did scrub, where you scrub into the count, because obviously once you have a certain number of temps, certain amount of usage of the propellant before we'd have to, or ULA would have to bring in some additional propellant. But had a lot of discussions, obviously, with NASA ULA and the range and the International Space Station program. But everyone is very supportive that we're going to do everything we can, even working over the holiday break to make sure we successfully complete this mission. And John, I don't know if you want to go through them.
Yeah, just add a little bit about the cryo consumables. This mission has longer built-in holds in our count than is typical, and so we have, and that's done to accommodate loading the crew when it's a crewed mission. And so there's more time where we have boil off. And so depending on when we would decide to scrub in the count, that could be a bigger problem or lesser of a problem depending on how much cryo we boiled off. So it kind of depends. You know, we'll have to look, if we do have a scrub, we'll have to look at why we scrubbed, how much work we have to do to fix whatever the reason was, and then where we ended up with consumables and how many attempts we can get with the consumables that are left before we have to replenish. But as John mentioned, we're set up for the 20th, 21st, and 23rd at the moment, and we'll work our way through that.
All right, thanks, John. I think we have time for one more question. Bill, I know you looked like you had a follow-up.
Again, you know, reporters were always asking about when are they going to launch the CFT mission, obviously, but that really depends on how it phases into the Atlas launch schedule. I know you got Solar Orbiter, which is a planetary window. You got a couple of military flights in March and April, I think. How tough is it going to be to phase Starliner in to a pretty busy manifest early next year?
So we do have a busy manifest coming up this year. We have, in general, a launch a month. We do have Starliner worked into the manifest as it's set now. You want to talk about the date for that, John?
Yeah, we're still looking. I think there's a couple areas we could fit it on the manifest in that first part of the year. We wanted to really stay away from any announcement of a